Hey, hi, can you hear me?
Hi,
Great.
good evening. Good evening, Jyoti. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm fine too. Good evening again. So, let me give our guest Jyoti Bisht the introduction. So, she's a support engineer community at Appwrite and a DevRel specialist at Gina AI and MLH pod leader. She has major interest in full stack development and open source. And along with this, she is a great contributor in the open source as well. So to begin, I would like to go over to the QA session. Is it okay with you?
Sure.
Okay, okay. So first of all, we know that there are many engineers out there who are interested in the domain of full stack development. So what made you choose this career path?
You're talking about my current role?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Great. So actually, since the start of my career, I've been working in open source. I graduated in 2022, which is last year itself. And even before that, in my fourth year of college, I joined Gina as a developer advocate. So if you, yeah, as you can see, my seeing my experience, also my career path has always been inclined towards open source, and community is a very key aspect of open source, right? And with open source projects developing and growing with each passing day, it becomes more and more important to provide a very good developer experience, and that comes with providing them with the technical support that they need. And that is why I think so my major reason. And the second is obviously I love Appwrite. Their developer experience is very very nice, and they have been laying full focus on improving it and making it excellent, and that is why I think I chose this role.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So next, I would like to ask you is that as you were an MLH pod leader, so could you please talk about your MLH fellowship and your experience as an MLH pod leader?
Sure. So actually, I am still a pod leader. So I joined MLH in 2020, I think. Yeah, is that correct? No, 2021, I think. Yeah. So 2021, I joined MLH in summer internship. So I got selected in fall, but somehow, because I couldn't be matched to a pod, which I'm pretty sure most of our audience might have faced too. So I went and did the summer internship, which was very very good because it gave me the experiences, gave me the exposure that I needed, especially coming from a tier 3 college. I did not have a lot of places where I could get experience even before getting hired by a company. And MLH exactly gave me that. And one of the most inspiring roles that I found in MLH was the pod leader role, because it gives you the ability to connect with the fellows, help them through their process. And since I had been a fellow, I exactly knew how to support them. And that is why I joined MLH as a pod leader. And since then, I have hosted two pods till now, and both of them amazing, like different people from different countries. And my last pod, I remember seven people, all seven from different countries. So it was a very, very good experience. And that is why I keep continuing.
Yeah, completely understand, and it was great to hear it from you that people had the sessions were amazing. Like many are there out there who also want to become MLH pod leaders later. I guess you know that. Okay.
Yeah.
So you said in the beginning that about open source, and there are many out there who also want to develop a career in open source. So
Yeah.
can you suggest some tips for the beginners who want to develop a career in the open source domain?
Okay, so career in open source is actually, I'm pretty impressed that a lot of people over the past few years have wanted to go into open source and do this full time. So for beginners, I would say that a lot of people think that they cannot contribute since they're beginners, but please don't think like that. You can contribute even if you're a beginner. Just start somewhere. Like, don't just sit there. Just start contributing to a project you love, or just possibly think of a project that you want to get hired at. So, for example, if I'm working at Appwrite, I want to first get into Appwrite and understand the project and contribute to it before even thinking of getting hired by it. Of course, there are other ways to get hired also, but why not just contribute to your favorite project, right? It increases your awareness of the project and plus helps you in overall development. So that is why I would say that choose a project that you like, not only with the purpose of getting hired, but also with the purpose of learning something, gaining experience, and just start. Like, this is, I know, a very, very basic tip, but this is the most effective tip you can ever have. So I will just say, just get started wherever you are, whatever you are doing, whichever year you are in, just get started.
Yeah, that was great. Like, it's a very good tip for the people who want to start their career in this domain.
Yeah.
I told about open source. Now I'd ask that as you are also into full stack development, can you suggest some tips for people who want to develop a career in the full stack development as well?
Yeah, sure. So full stack development is a very, very versatile career path in itself, and it teaches you a lot of things, right? It teaches you front end, it teaches you back end, it teaches you databases and stuff like that. So first and foremost, have a good tutorial. Like, it doesn't have to be paid necessarily. Like, you can learn everything for free. There's free code camp and a lot of different things you can learn for free. So what I would suggest is just first of all, just take a course, right? Learn any full stack tech that you want. Like, you can learn Mern, you can learn Mean, you can learn anything, Python, Django, stuff like that. Depends on your interest. I was interested in Mern. I was not interested in Angular, hence not Mean, but Mern for me. But learn something and then start building projects, putting them on GitHub, right? And putting them on your resume as well. Like, it's better if your projects are deployed, because then the recruiters and the hiring managers can go and just click on the links on GitHub and they can see what you built and how it works, right? And make that repository very, very nice. Like, nice in the in terms of, like, have a good readme, have a good map. I would say have a good roadmap, have a good architecture diagram, and stuff like that. So you will learn all of this when you take a course, or you just go to YouTube and start free code camps, any video, and then start building projects, and then put those projects on your GitHub and also on your resume. But please also try to deploy that. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people who are going to build full stack applications, they're also going to use it in MLH. So MLH checks for your projects when you're applying, so it will come in handy.
Thank you, ma'am. Like, it will be a great advice for people who want to follow this career path of full stack development. Ma'am, as you were a DevRel specialist in Gina AI, can you
Hmm.
share your experience there, like as an DevRel specialist at Gina AI?
Sure. So I joined Gina and I worked with them for 1.3 years. Wonderful company to work with. And I worked mainly on handling all the external community collaborations. So if you ever have hosted a hackathon or you have hosted workshops and you have ever contacted Gina, so pretty sure that I was the person talking to you, especially in India. So, and the experience was very, very good because each day, each week, you learn something new. Like, and the team was very supportive. It's like, if you don't know things, they are still there to tell you how to do it, right? They can, even if you don't know stuff, they will teach you how to do it from scratch, and they will allow your creativity to flow in. And uh, every I say this, that every company has different job description for what they want in their developer advocate, right? Some might want a very technical person, some might want who's good at marketing and social media and stuff like that. So my major forte in that role was external collabs and basically a community, like the community of Gina, because I said, right, in open source itself, I've very much been interested in community. So I think so that was the reason.
Great. So we got to know about your experience as a DevRel specialist at Gina AI. The next question that comes to our mind is very much relevant. Like, can you provide some insights into DevRel?
Insights as in?
Like the details of DevRel, like how to work as a DevRel specialist, sort of.
Okay. So, like, how can one get started?
Yeah.
Okay. So, first of all, being a developer advocate I think so. You have to be very versatile and you have to understand that community is a very, very big part when it comes to advocacy. And advocacy, as the name suggests, that you are going to tell people about your product. But it is important for you to understand what your product does, right? So, technical knowledge is also required for you to understand that what your product does, what is it exactly that you are talking about, right? So if a person comes to me and talks to me about Appwrite, I have to know stuff that they're talking about. I cannot just be there and be like, hey, Appwrite is amazing and do this, do that. Even with Gina, I cannot be like, Gina is amazing, rational AI and stuff is amazing. If I don't understand the product myself, I cannot help other people. So I think so that second, you have to be very good with communication because your job might involve talking to a lot of external people, a lot of community folks. So polite, being good at communicating is one of the other things that I would suggest. And yeah, so I think so. These three things. First is putting community first. Second is knowing your product in and out, like understanding your own product for which you are advocating for. And third, I think, is communication skills.
Great. The points are extremely good, and I think many out there, those who want to explore this domain, would find it really helpful. The next question that comes is like very much important is that what is the difference between DevRel and DevOps? Many might have this question.
Okay, so actually, they are very, very different, to be very honest. So, DevRel full form is developer relations, and it caters to, right, as the name suggests, your team's relation with developers, like your community's relation, your team's relation with the community, and stuff like that. While DevOps is actually um it is a set of practices and tools, right? It is for automating and integrating the processes between your software development and IT teams. So it is very different. Okay, it is like there's no comparison. The terms might sound same, but they are actually very, very different. So DevOps means actually development operations, right? And so basically, whatever coordination, collaboration is needed between different teams. So you might have a development team, like the engineering team, right? Then they create the product. Then the product is sent to quality assurance team. They check the quality. Then security team who make sure that the product is secure. So DevOps is that DevOps combine all of this together, right? And developer advocacy is actually a totally different thing. They are the people who are there to vouch for that product, who are there to tell them what the product is, who are there to talk to the community about the product and stuff like that. So yeah, they're pretty different.
Thank you so much for clearing this doubt. Like many have this confusion, and I hope this
Yeah,
confusion
I
has been cleared
understand.
now. Okay, okay. So the next question that you are talking about communities. So can you explain that how, like what is the role of communities in DevRel?
Okay, so I think community is a backbone of whatever you do, especially in an open source community. So if you're an open source community developer, then you might relate with this because I my community is what is making this open source project, what is keeping this open source project alive, right? They are the ones who are trying the product, they are the ones who are giving me feedback, they are the ones who are participating in our events, they are the ones who are showering us with all the love. So I think I can say that community is the backbone of all the stuff that you do in developer advocacy, because in open source community matters a lot. We take care of each other, we cater to each other's needs, and we always respect each other.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for answering this question. Now, one can ask that how to choose the best community in open source. Like there are best many communities out there. So, how
Mhm.
to choose which is the best community for open source, especially?
Join Appwrite's Discord server. That is
that was okay.
and we'll
Well,
show
I
you what a great community looks like. But jokes apart, so first of all, search a community that shares your interest. So if I am a full stack developer and I have no interest in, say, for example, Kubernetes, right? For example, that was marketing 101. Yeah. So, um, if I have no interest in Kubernetes, I'm a full stack dev, or maybe I am a graphic designer. Okay, I'm not even an engineer, I'm a graphic designer, and I still want to contribute to open source. By the way, just a reminder that open source is for everyone, even designers, technical writers, everyone. Okay, so if I'm a graphic designer and I have no interest in coding and I'm searching for communities where I can design a logo for them, maybe, right? Design their posters, because open source communities can always use your help. So I will look for relevant communities. Say there is a community who doesn't need a logo, right? So what is my use over there? I have no purpose to serve over there. And for example, I'm a technical writer and I write documentation. And so I will look for, but the thing is, I can only write documentation for full stack. I cannot write for DevOps or Kubernetes, right? So I won't go into a Kubernetes or DevOps community. I could if I wanted to learn that, but if I don't want to learn it, I'm like, I want to only contribute where my skills allow. So look for a community which resonates with what you do. So it could be cloud native, it could be Kubernetes, it could be DevOps, it could be full stack. So there, and join that. Then afterwards, don't be scared, to be very honest, at first when you're just starting out, because you will be very very confused once you join a community, because there is a lot of things. Just imagine that community has been live for the past 2 3 20 30 years. You don't even know what's happening, how it has been happening, but the people in every community are really helpful. Again, choose a community which is beginner friendly, I would say, if you're a beginner. And then ask people for help, and they always have beginner documentation. And yeah, and then you can just follow the steps and interact with the people. Usually communities have mentors or supporting engineers or support people, like am. So if you come to Appwrite and you have like questions about Appwrite, I'm the one who's going to be helping you, and I have a wonderful team who's going to answer that. So yeah, just search for a community which has, um I would say, same goals as yours. I think so. I had a link. Just give me 1 second. Um, I
You can
have.
share the link in the private chat, then we can share
Sure.
it for everyone. Yeah, yeah, it's shared. Yes, yes. Thank you.
You can see, like, if you're finding open source projects to contribute to, then I would say these links, maybe you can check those out. Or Hacktoberfest is a very good way to find out. Hacktoberfest, you can go and see which projects are participating. And beginner friendly, I would say, just give me 1 second, okay? Beginner friendly, maybe you can try this link out. I know making a decision about which community to contribute to is a very difficult one, but I'm pretty sure if given some time and some energy, you can figure it out.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing the information. After this, the next question that comes to us is that what are your favorite projects that you have worked on till yet?
My favorite projects?
Yeah, the favorite projects that you have done till yet.
So, are you talking about my personal projects, or are you talking about the open source projects I've contributed to?
Open source projects.
Okay, again, marketing app, right? So
That-
I am shameless. But no, to be very honest, I that is why I'm here, right? Building your career with open source, because go and join a company, go and join an open source project you love, you like contributing to, and you want to work with them full time, right? If they give you an offer letter, what's better than that? Like, you are getting paid to work with a company you love, with a project you love, right? So I would say Django has to be one of my favorite too, because Django has a very very good maintainer and maintainers. So Django, by the way, just a heads up, Django participates in GSOC almost every year. So maybe you guys could try that, and yeah, go forward with Django. There's Appwrite, Django, and I would say I haven't contributed, but I'm pretty sure Moja Global is a very, very good organization
Yeah.
with very good maintainers and very good mentors. Um, and so yeah, I think so. I think so. These are all that come to my mind right now.
Thank you so much for answering this question. Like you talked about the difference between DevRel and DevOps. So many might ask, have this question like, which is better, DevRel or DevOps? Many might have this question in their mind.
Okay. So actually, you can compare that. To be very honest, why you can't compare? Because it all depends on your interest. Okay, and if you like both DevOps and developer advocacy, why not become a developer advocate for a company that is a DevOps tool or that creates a DevOps tool? Like that's the best crossover you can have, right? But it is very different. You can be a DevOps engineer, but but the problem might be that you don't have the necessary skills. Again, with developer advocacy, that might be a problem. But I would say just do a bit of research, okay, about what you want in your life. There are a lot of interviews and a lot of articles out there that tell the difference between DevOps and DevRel and stuff like that, right? And that is why just go and see their interviews. Like maybe you could do like life a day in a life of DevOps engineer, day in a life of developer advocate, and then make the decision that like it's all what your heart says to do, and follow its lead.
Thank you, ma'am, for answering this question. Ma'am, next question I like to have to use that. How did you choose your tech stack?
How did I choose my tech stack? Okay, so mine is a very funny story. I tried five different tech stacks and found myself hating every one of those. So the least hated tech stack was the one that I chose. So that was my story. But actually, I learned C++, then I learned Python, and then I learned JavaScript. So the main difference between these three that I found was that I can build so much things with JavaScript. Plus, it gives me a lot of an access to different world of development, right? I found it very good, JavaScript, and then I started searching on the internet development with JavaScript, right? And then I found out that okay, there's React, something known as React that works on it. And there was Angular that worked on TypeScript, but I was not willing to learn another thing. So I was like, okay, let's you already know JavaScript, so half of your work might be done in React. I'm not the one to say it, but I would say that if you're choosing your tech stack, a good idea would be to do a bit of research about different tech stacks, like what you can do with them, what you cannot do. So, for example, for machine learning, maybe you could try out Python, maybe you can try out R, right, for data analytics and analysis, and then you can make the decision. But everything like maybe before, if you are from a private college, you might have done a bit of research about choosing which college you want to go to, right? That is exactly, just
Yeah,
try
yeah,
to
yeah.
continue that, and go for JavaScript, by the way.
That was pretty great at the end. Ma'am, like I have another question too is that we know that most of us are like college students. So we also have our college studies to do as well. So how to manage open source along with our college stuff and our college studies?
So that is one of the advantages I had because we were in COVID and we were at home, we were during lockdown, and that is why we had plenty of time on our hands to study. And I pretty much understand that this is not the case with my younger batches because they don't have time. They have to prepare for placements, they have to do data structures, but they also don't want to do DSA. They want to do development and open source. And I
Of
understand that
course,
is
of
just
course.
double work, right? That is like DSA and Dev, managing both plus managing college studies, that is DBMS, OOPS, stuff like that, is tough. But I can just say that when you go to college, a lot of people don't study in classes, right?
Of
I
course.
didn't. I didn't. So why are you wasting your time over there, right? Instead of, what you can do, either one option is just study one night before the exam, but that is not something that I'm saying. Not, don't quote me on this. But what you can do is, when you go to college, and if you are attending classes, if you're not attending, then you have plenty of time, don't worry, you can contribute to open source. But if you are going to colleges and you are studying, you are sitting in a classroom, make use of that time. At least just study that subject so that you don't have to study again at home. Make use of weekends. I'm not saying that, hey, be a nerd and just on weekends spend your whole time. But I think so. This is the correct position, like second, third, fourth year is a perfect time for you to just work a bit harder than you normally would. And if I'm pretty sure that if you give, so open source, good thing about open source is it doesn't need like 1 2 years for you to land a job in it. You can, it is like hands-on experience, right? So you can get it in like few months or 1 year. And so just get started. And like on weekends, if you get time, just do that. Weekends, on weekends, make time. This is the age, right, to, for us to work hard and go ahead. If you don't go to college, then that's another story. Very good. Just stay at home and do open source while doing your DSA and college subjects.
Yeah, I know many of you will definitely like this answer, and many of you will relate with this. What are
I totally relate, because when I came to college, dude, it was, I was working, right? I had Gina, and I was so done because I had to give like 8 to 10 hours daily. And there was college, and I was like, I'm done with college. I want to just graduate. I'm done. So I can understand what you guys are going through, but it's okay. You can do it.
Thank you so much. Next question that I would have to is that we have many like students out there who want to do competitive coding, like competitive programming. So, do you have some certain tips for them, like how to get started with competitive programming?
So I'm not an expert because I never did competitive programming. I tried, but I left it in between because I could not do DSA, CP, OOPS, DBMS, and open source all at once. So for those of you who don't know, I started coding actually in my third year. So I did not have a lot of time, right? Actually, in my
Yeah.
sixth semester, which is second half of the half of third year, which is pretty late. Okay, so I started coding like basic codes. So what I can say is, I think so. There are a lot of courses. Again, you want to learn something, go and find a course for it. Find a free course. Find blogs and tutorials. Just everything is one click away, one search away. How to get started with competitive programming. This is what all you have to Google, and just move forward with it.
Thank you, ma'am. And I think many of you would find it really inspiring that despite starting coding so late, you can still be really good at it and be successful.
Yeah,
Like many are there out there.
I meet people who are so stressed in their first year that I am 6 months late in starting my coding. I'm like, dude, chill. In first year, I didn't even know what C++ is. So just relax. And I was creating flowcharts, and I was getting a C, D, I don't know, whichever grade you can imagine. So if a person like me, and I did not have coding in my 11th and 12th, right? I had physical education. I did not have computer science. So a lot of people had head start because they start in school, right? So it's okay. You can do it. I'm not saying that I am the example you should use. No, you should not. I'm just saying, if I can learn coding to a survivable level, then you can do it too. Like if I can do it, anyone can.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing the experience. So, lastly, I have a question like, what advice would you like to give to developers, the engineers who want to go into this field of open source, and the students as well, who are a little bit juniors, like first and second years as well? So, what
Advice would
advice would
be,
you like to have for them?
okay, my advice would be that open source is great. You can become a developer, you can become a maintainer, you can do awesome stuff with open source. The community is great. You will find mentors that you might have never found in, your college or your school or your own peers, amongst your own peers. You will connect with people from different areas of the world. You will learn how to collaborate. And even before getting hired in a fourth year, you will learn how to work in a team, right? And that is exactly why open source puts you in a better position. Like Red Hat plays a lot of emphasis on open source on their resume when they hire, and a lot of different companies too, because it gives you the experience that you need without asking you for money, without um, and also one motivation could be you can just get hired in third year itself. I got hired in my fourth year. Like I started my job at the end of my third year. So you can start earning in college most probably, because most of the times open source might not differentiate based on a degree. And I've seen people from chemistry background and from different backgrounds get into open source as a developer too, because they don't discriminate. And yeah, I would just say just start. Don't feel intimidated. Every day if you're giving just like 15-30 minutes also, that's fine. They say that efforts have a compounding effect, so they accumulate and become fruitful. So, and if you have any questions that you have related to open source, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'll just share my link, so that like just feel free to text me on LinkedIn. I am very not active on LinkedIn, but still I'll reply probably.
Thank you, ma'am, like for clearing all our doubts and also all our questions. Now we have some questions from the audience who are watching. So the first question we have is like, what's DevRel? I think you have cleared it, but do you have anything to add?
I have a brilliant article that I want to share with everyone. So it will tell you what is DevRel from the start to the end. And give me 1 second now, because I think if I just give one definition, it's not enough, right? I will just share that. Where is it? Give me 1 second. I send this link to so many people. Um, Maybe this one is also good. I couldn't find the one that I've been. This link maybe you can share with people.
Yeah, sure. If you have given in the privately, it will be shared. Yeah, okay.
Awesome.
Okay,
And
thank
also
you.
there is a developer advocacy blog by GitHub. So maybe you can try reading that.
Okay, next question we have is that, can open source software be used for commercial purposes?
Yes, most probably, but it depends on the project, to be very honest. So most of the projects have like commercial tiers also, right? So for example, if there is a project and there are a lot of requests coming in and they have to monetize it, so they have like paid tiers also, and they have free tiers also for personal projects, right? So that it depends on the model, right? And all open source, they can be used for commercial purposes. It depends on project to project.
Okay, thank you. Next question also we have is that, what is free software and is it the same as open source?
That is a good question, but actually almost all open source softwares are free softwares, but there are like exceptions, I would say, because again, as I discussed, right, that they might have commercial tiers, they might have paid stuff. And what free software means is like, um I would say, how to put it in words, right? So for example, free software might be, yeah, free software, a good example of free software could be that you're allowed to use that software, you can run it, copy it, improve that software, right? And free software is mostly not about pricing, I would say, because it is more about the freedom that comes with the project and using that project, right? So as I said, many open source project might have commercial products that they don't want to share the code of, or they don't want you to use that part and stuff like that. But open source software is something that you can um, modify, but they have a particular license which is GNU. If you're looking, if you create a repository on GitHub, just look for GNU or GPL license, right? And you will realize what these licenses actually are, and that is the main difference between all of these, both of these.
Thank you so much for clearing this doubt asked by one of our students. Okay. Next question we have is that could you suggest some tips on networking and internships, especially for tier 3 college students?
Networking, as in, you mean like networking with people on LinkedIn and stuff like that?
Yeah, I think that person wanted to ask about you talked something about hosting and also conducting sessions on MLH and all. I think she wanted to ask something about that also as well.
Yeah, so when you join an open source project, networking happens on your own. Just be active in the community, talk to the people, and um, you know, talk to the mentors, talk to the maintainers, and share your thoughts. And I would suggest that put your GitHub may, when you're creating your own profile, put a good README over there, so that people are able to see what you do, which college you are in. I will just send my GitHub for a reference. You can see my GitHub README, and then there you can find a template. Maybe you can copy paste that if you want. And internships, I would say you can try for MLH fellowship, which is not an internship, like it is an alternative to internships, and apply off campus. Like there are a lot of uh, opportunities that open frequently for tier 3 students as well, pan India, and you can just apply to them.
Thank you so much for clearing all our questions. I guess we do not have any more questions. One time I would like to ask everyone, do you have any more questions to our speaker? If you have them, you can clear it now. Or I think anyone would like to mail them. So can you drop your mail here, mail ID here?
Sure. Just dropping my mail ID, which is Jyoti@appwrite.io. So you can just mail me if you would like. And I think so. Just contact me on LinkedIn as well if you want. And I think so. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. So we would like to present. Thank you so much, Jyoti, for joining us and like creating a very interactive session for everyone. And I guess everyone has enjoyed it. And we are very happy that you have been with us for this long time and answered all our questions as well. And I know that many would also like to connect you on LinkedIn as well and also ask you questions if they have anything on mail as well, right?
Great. So thank you for having me. It was great interacting over here, and I hope you have a good day.
Yeah, so like I would like to present you with a token of appreciation from our side. Just a minute, wait. Is it visible, Jyoti?
Not yet.
Okay, I'm sharing one second.
Oh, yes. Oh, thank you so much.
Okay, so it's a
Thank
small
you.
token
Yeah, that's
appreciation
pretty
from
good.
our
I like
side.
it. I like it. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
So now, like, we would like to take a screenshot of a picture session from our side.
Sure. Give me 1 second. So, since, by the way, which city are you in?
We are in Kolkata, West Bengal.
Okay, is it cold over there?
No, not so much. Like, it's
I am in
around,
Dehradun, so it's pretty cold.
no, not so much. It's around 20 degrees Celsius.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, hi, hi.
For me, it is very cold because I'm in Dehradun.
Oh, God.
Let's take a picture.
Yeah, yeah, sure. I'd also like my other core members to join as well.
Sure, sure, sure. Hello, Vedant. Welcome back. You're
Hello.
on mute.
Yeah, so I'll take the picture on the count of five.
Yeah.
So that would be five, four, three, two, one. Thank you, Jyoti, for joining us today.
Thank you, everyone. Hope to see you all soon. Bye bye.
Thank you, Jyoti.
Bye.
Bye. Good night.
Bye. Good night.